I really think that like I feel like I'm usually a very reserved guy. Like I try to call it like it is. I think this is a really good spot for the Jets. I think we might be in blowout territory this week against the Denver Broncos. They got their win out of the way in week 3 against Todd Bowles and the Bucks. Knocked me out of my survivor pool league. Thanks a lot, Baker Mayfield, Todd Bowles and company down there in Tampa Bay. But Jets offense started to click in week 3 against New England. Kind of a similar spot, I feel like, for Denver. They don't have a ton offensively. They're dealing with a young quarterback. Their run game isn't really all that great, so they throw with their young quarterback a lot. Jets are 3rd in the NFL right now in team pressures. There's just a lot that is pointing Jets to me in this one. Am I too optimistic here?
No, I'm with you. I think the Jets are winning this one. It's the return of Zach Wilson. I don't think we see Zach Wilson on the field,
No.
but I'm excited for that nonetheless. He'll be back in MetLife Stadium. That's fun. But I do think, this Jets team matches up well against a bad Broncos team. They got their win last week. You're right. They got it out of the way. The Buccaneers, they absolutely choked that one. But I don't think that this is a good Broncos team. And I think this is a very good New York Jets team, at least on paper. When you're looking at the roster, the way the two stack up, I mean, this should be a win for the Jets. I'm totally with you. I don't necessarily know if it's going to be major blowout just because, we saw the blowout from the Jets last week, but it was a short week against New England. And do they have week-to-week blowout potential? I'm not sure. Sometimes that's a little bit difficult for a team to maintain. But coming off of a long break here for the Jets, they've got a little bit of extra rest, fully healthy. Maybe they go out there and they hit the ground running. I'm definitely thinking this is going to be a nice one for Aaron Rodgers to get busy because I think this Broncos defense is really struggling.
Yeah, I'm with you. Looking at, I was pulling up as you were talking. I was going to pull up Bo Nix's numbers, and he was more efficient. I don't know. That's probably the nice way to say it against Tampa Bay. Didn't throw a touchdown pass, but 216 passing yards, 6 yards per attempt, 85 passer rating. Again, didn't turn it over. Did have a rushing touchdown, so that's an added bonus. That's maybe something that the Jets need to watch because honestly, Bo Nix is their most efficient runner. Javonte Williams hasn't been really all that efficient, and Jaleel McLaughlin, same thing. I think the two of them are averaging, like both of them are averaging 2.2 yards per attempt. Like it's disgusting. So in the run game, it's a lot of Bo Nix, but his first 2 games in the league, 4 turnovers in his first 2 games, 4 interceptions. They were not pretty interceptions as well. He was very check down Charlie in week 1. 138 passing yards on 42 attempts that's hard to do. So I don't want to be the brash, overconfident guy. That's usually not how I am, but I just think matchup wise with how the Jets defensive line has been performing better week over week, they're getting like DJ Reed has a little bit of an extra, the 10 days off, a little bit more time to recover. Same with Michael Carter. You might be getting CJ Mosley back as well. I think the defensive line's able to get home and confuse a young quarterback in Bo Nix. And I just don't see this Denver offense being able to do a whole lot this week.
No, me neither. And honestly, looking at those stats that you just pulled up, I cannot believe how much they've asked Bo Nix to throw the ball through the first 3 weeks of the season. He hasn't even had under 35 passing attempts in any of these games. Listen, I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. Sean Payton, most overrated head coach in NFL history. First of all, he shouldn't be allowed to coach. He should be banned for lifetime for Bountygate. I don't even think that's a hot take. I think a lot of people share that opinion. I hate the guy. I think that he's not that great of a coach. He called one onside kick and they won a game that honestly Peyton Manning, he kind of choked. That's really what happened there. But that's my take on that. And I think that the way that he's managed the first few weeks of the season for Bo Nix has been terrible. And he's pretty much putting him out there to die. And I do like this comment, though, from Rico the Pup here. If it's a blowout, fully expect the put in Zach chance. I think that Jets fans should start the put in Zach Wilson chance from the start of the game, just to rattle Bo Nix. Before the ball's even snapped for Bo Nix, put in Zach. Don't make the Broncos fans do it. You guys do it yourself. I think that would be a really fun way to kind of trash talk Bo Nix.
I was going to say, I can promise you, because we discussed this on our show, Talking Jets on Tuesday night, there are at least 85 people in the 300 section that will be chanting it the entire time. Jet fans want like their pound of flesh so to speak, against Zach Wilson. I don't think he dresses, by the way, because he's been their third quarterback. So if they were to make a switch, it would be Jarrett Stidham, unless like something weird happens in the next few days here. But you have that aspect of it, which again is interesting to point out. Zach Wilson making his return to MetLife Stadium, but also we know how Aaron Rodgers feels about Nate Hackett. He loves that guy, and Sean Payton threw Nathaniel Hackett under the bus last year, and the Jets were able to beat Denver on the road and kind of like get the last laugh, so to speak. But Rodgers wasn't a part of that. We know Rodgers is a vindictive son of a bitch, so I think he wants to come in there and light it up against Sean Payton for his guy Nate Hackett here too.